Good evening, children. As you can see, we have a buddy today. Marshall is going to help us out with our assignment. This is what happens when you have kids. So I'm going to go ahead and film the review for you. And we're in the second part. So we're going to be doing the symbols first. I'm not going to film the vocabulary up here yet because you should have that in your notes, and that's probably the least difficult of the items on the review. I am kind of tired and stopped up, so I apologize that my voice is pretty scratchy. But anyway, say bye to Marshall. Marshall, say bye, everybody. Everybody say bye, Marshall. Okay, great. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to film these. For my newbies to YouTube, I am going to film pieces of the review and put it together in a playlist for the review itself. And then on top of that, I'm going to add each of these pieces to their respective playlists for the other topics. So like this would go under Geometry Basics. So let's look at what we got going here. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. Construct the following. Okay, construct means to draw. Fancy word for draw. So what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to look at these symbols and representations and tell me what kind of picture you're going to have, and you have to create that picture. So let's look at this here. I've got line L. Now remember, we can do a line two different ways. We can name a line with 2 points on that line, any 2 points, or if it's got a lowercase letter, we can name it with a lowercase letter. So line L, it's a lowercase letter, and usually they're cursive, would just look like this. That's line L. The L is not a point. This is not a point, okay? It's just a lowercase cursive letter that's on either end of the line. It doesn't have to be cursive, it can be italics, but it's something that has to be different than a capital because we only use capitals for points. So anything indicating a point. All right, so let's look at the next one on number 10. We've got ray JK. Now what this indicates is it's the ray that starts at J and goes through K. So I'm going to draw ray JK just like this. Boom, done. I could also draw it this way. Remember, the ray symbol always points to the right. So even though this says ray JK going to the right, I could write it this way. It still has to start at J and go through K. So this is just two different ways you could draw that one. Okay, so now let's look at number 11. Number 11 is an angle, and that's something that we'll talk a little bit more about on Wednesday when we do copying and everything. So an angle looks like this. If that's angle PQR, the vertex of the angle is the center letter. So the vertex is right there. So Q is your vertex. Now the P and the R, I can put them there, or I could have them switched, as long as Q is the vertex, and there's your angle. Whereas, you know, we talked about opposite rays. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about that when we get to 13. Let's look at number 12. Now number 12 says plane R. Okay, so we're looking at plane R, and I'm looking for my green marker. I can't find it. I think my children stole it. So if I want to look at plane R, that R is not a point. That is a descriptor. It's an identifier. So I'm going to draw my plane, and we usually just draw the little Lucky Charm marshmallow, okay? And plane R means I'm going to have my R right there. That's plane R. Remember, you can name a plane with that cursive letter, or you can name the plane with any 3 non-collinear points in that plane, okay? All right, so let's look at 13 and kind of revisit what we were talking about in 11. Opposite rays. Remember, opposite rays have the same initial point, or you can call it an end point, and go opposite directions. So for the opposite rays, this ray starts at C and goes through O, okay? That's this ray. Its opposite, if they are truly opposite, means it goes the complete opposite direction. So it would be C, W would go this way. Now, you could have put the O over here and done CO and CW. That's fine. What do opposite rays make? They make a line. Now let's explore the difference between two opposite rays and an angle. Opposite rays are two rays that share a common endpoint and go opposite directions. An angle is created when you have two rays that share a common endpoint and go different directions. Why is different not the same as opposite? Opposite means the only option is complete opposite. You've got a line, which happens to be a 180-degree angle, a straight angle. Different means as long as they're not going the same direction. So I could draw a number of angles here with these different rays. Okay. So let's look at the last one. Oh, I'm running out of colors. Dang. So line RS that passes through plane ABC. Now some of you are very creative artists. I got some very interesting pictures on the quiz. So I'm going to draw my plane. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And it's plane ABC. So that means somewhere on this plane, I need three non-collinear points. A, B, and C have to be non-collinear when you name the plane. Now, collinear points are coplanar. But if you want to name the plane, you have to name three non-collinears. If I were to pick 3 points right in a row and call the plane plane A blank C, and they're collinear, that doesn't indicate where the plane goes. So you have to use 3 non-collinear to name it. RS passes through the plane at point J. So I've got this other point J, and I've got this line RS that's going to pass through the plane. So right here, I'm going to put an R right there. Then I'm going to dot the line. I'm going to put an S right there. That shows me that it passes through the plane. The dotted line indicates the line goes behind. Sorry, let me put this up a little bit. The line goes behind the plane. Okay? So that hopefully will work for you. Any questions on this? Oh wait, you can't answer, or you can't ask. I can't answer. It's late. All right, so that is working on drawing the symbols.